basement of the old Langford library, beneath creaking floorboards and forgotten stairwells, worked Elias Vane, the archivist no one remembered hearing. He arrived each morning before dawn, cataloging brittle manuscripts, faded photographs, and letters that smelled of rain and regret. His office was a vault of time, where whispers of the past clung to the air like cobwebs. Elias wasn't just preserving history, he was hunting something. For 30 years, he'd been tracing a pattern hidden in the archives, a series of letters from different centuries, all signed with the same symbol, a serpent eating its tail. Each letter hinted at a secret society that had shaped the town's fate from the shadows, and each letter ended with the same phrase: the archivist must never forget. One rainy afternoon, a journalism student named Mira stumbled into the archive, researching a story about Langford's founding families. She was curious, persistent, and too observant for Elias' comfort. "You know," she said, flipping through a box of wartime correspondence, "these letters mention a fire in 1892 that doesn't appear in any official record. Why would that be?" Elias stiffened. That fire had destroyed the original town hall and supposedly the records of a trial that never happened. A trial involving a man named Alaric Vane, Elias' great-grandfather. Mira's questions reopened wounds Elias had buried beneath decades of silence. But they also stirred something else: the need to know the truth, even if it shattered the legacy he'd spent his life preserving. Together, Elias and Mira uncovered a hidden compartment behind the archive's oldest shelf. Inside was a journal bound in human skin, Alaric's confessions. He hadn't been a criminal. He'd been a whistleblower, trying to expose the society that manipulated Langford's leaders for generations. The fire had been no accident. It was a purge. Elias realized he wasn't just an archivist. He was the last guardian of a truth too dangerous to publish, yet too sacred to forget. Mira wanted to write the story. Elias hesitated. If they exposed the society, they'd risk retaliation. But if they stayed silent, history would remain a lie. In the end, Elias gave Mira the journal. "Let the world decide," he said. "But remember, some truths don't want to be found, and some archivists don't survive the finding." She left with the journal. Elias stayed behind, watching the dust settle once more. That night, the library caught fire. But Elias had already copied the journal and hidden it in a place no one would think to look: the archives. The fire that consumed Langford Library was ruled accidental. Faulty wiring, they said, but Mira knew better. She watched the flames from across the street, clutching the journal Elias had entrusted to her. He hadn't escaped. He'd chosen to stay. In the days that followed, Mira combed through the surviving records Elias had hidden in a secondary archive, an abandoned church crypt converted into a cold storage vault. There, she found copies of every letter, every map, every symbol Elias had traced. He built a second archive, a backup memory, a legacy. But one box was different. Inside was a cassette tape labeled, "For the next archivist." Mira played the tape in her dorm room. Elias' voice crackled through the static. "If you're hearing this, you've inherited the burden. Langford's history is a lie built on silence. The society still exists. They'll come for you. But truth is a stubborn thing. It survives in the hands of the brave." He listed names, dates, places, and one final instruction: "There's one file they never found. It's hidden in the cornerstone of the original town hall ruins. Find it, and finish what I couldn't." Mira broke into the ruins under moonlight. Beneath the moss-covered stone, she found a metal box sealed with wax. Inside was a ledger, names of every society member since 1789. Judges, mayors, bankers, even her journalism professor. She realized Elias hadn't just preserved history. He'd weaponized it. Mira published the story anonymously. The town erupted. Investigations, resignations, threats. But the truth was out. Elia's name became legend, the archivist who burned with his secrets so the next generation could rise from the ashes. Mira became the new archivist, but she didn't work in a basement. She built a digital archive, open source, public, untouchable. And on its homepage, beneath the serpent symbol, she wrote, "The archivist must never forget, but now the world remembers." Mira's digital archive went viral. Historians praised it. Whistleblowers used it. But something strange began to happen. Every time Mira uploaded a new document, she received anonymous emails, cryptic phrases, coordinates, threats disguised as riddles. One message simply read, "You've opened the vault. Now you must guard the door." She traced the IPs. They bounced through servers in countries she'd never visited. But one location kept recurring, a cabin in the woods outside Langford, Elia's birthplace. Mira drove there at dusk. The cabin was abandoned, but inside she found a wall covered in newspaper clippings, red string, and photographs of every archivist Langford had ever had. All of them had died mysteriously. All of them had left behind a ledger. Elia's photo was the last. Beneath it, a note. The ledger remembers, even when the archivist forgets. Back at her apartment, Mira dug deeper into Elia's backup archive. She found a file labeled "Do Not Open." It was encrypted. She cracked it. Inside was a video, grainy, timestamped 2 weeks before Elia's death. He was speaking to someone off camera. "You said the ledger was just a record, but it's more than that, isn't it? It's a map, a prophecy, and I'm not the last archivist, she is." He looked directly into the camera. "Mira, if you're watching this, they've already marked you." That night, Mira found a symbol carved into her door. The serpent, but this time it wasn't eating its tail. It was split in two. She realized the society wasn't just watching, it was evolving, and the ledger wasn't complete. It was waiting for her to finish it. Mira scanned the ledger under infrared light. Hidden beneath the names was a second layer, symbols, coordinates, and a repeating phrase in Latin, "Memoria est arma." Memory is a weapon. She realized the ledger wasn't just a record. It was a map of events that hadn't happened yet. Fires, disappearances, scandals, all dated in the future, all tied to people who hadn't been born when Elia's died, including her. Digging into Elia's genealogy, Mira discovered a chilling truth. Every archivist had been a descendant of Alaric Vane. The society had kept the bloodline alive to ensure the prophecy would unfold exactly as written. The archivist wasn't a guardian. She was a trigger. In a sealed envelope marked Protocol A, Mira found Elia's final instructions. He discovered a way to break the prophecy by corrupting the ledger's timeline, but it required a sacrifice. The archivist had to erase her own memory of the ledger. Only then could history be rewritten. Mira hesitated. If she followed the protocol, she'd forget everything: Elia's, the society, the truth. But if she didn't, Langford's future would unfold exactly as the ledger predicted. She activated the protocol. A neural archive device Elia's had hidden in the cabin pulsed with light. She placed the ledger inside. The machine began to hum. As her memories faded, she recorded one final message. "If you find this, you're the next archivist, and you must choose, preserve the truth or rewrite it. But know this: memory is a weapon, and forgetting is the cost of freedom." The machine shut down. Mira vanished. Years later, a young historian named Leo found the cabin. Inside, he discovered the ledger blank, but beside it, a tape recorder with Mira's voice. And a note: "The archivist must never forget, but sometimes forgetting is the only way to survive."